Hey, community, here's what's brewing today.
Angelica Ross versus Ryan Murphy.
Ask your aunties. She ruined Renaissance.
And Corby's and Sidetrack. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Carell.
It's Auntea Dawon.
And it's Auntie Jarrell.
Hey, ladies, what's up?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing today? I'm doing all right. You know,
Okay.
somehow I didn't caught a cold.
Is it COVID? Because literally like 10 people at work got COVID.
I don't know. But she sounded like Carell a little bit over here.
Ooh,
No.
you got that bass in your voice. I know that's right.
Nah, I definitely sound a little deeper. But I don't know because I was just home in Gary and my grandpa still smokes like a pack a day. And it's just a lot to inhale.
Yep.
When you're there for 72 hours and that's the only oxygen. At one point, I went and laid outside and was just on my phone like I was sunbathing in my clothes because my body just needs some fresh air.
I know that's right.
I couldn't do it. I could not.
That's the one thing. Like I'm not a smoker, and I would preferably be with somebody that is not a smoker. And that was the one thing with Corey. I was like, I hope you know you ain't smoking nowhere A near me, and then B, you ain't smoking nowhere in this house. So if that's what you're thinking,
girl.
Deuces.
My whole suitcase smells like a Vegas casino. Girl, right? That face, because that's how bad it smelled. That's how bad it smells. So bad. Like the one hoodie that I wore, because normally I wear a hoodie when I go to the airport, because sometimes it can be cold, and the airport can be cold in the plane.
Right.
I couldn't even wear that. So I ended up having to go to the store and buy just a little $15 hoodie so I can have something because everything else just reeked.
No, ma'am.
Just reeked.
No, ma'am.
I wash my clothes twice. Wash them twice.
Cigarette smoke actually gives me a headache.
Me too.
When I get, if I get into an Uber and I can immediately tell that somebody smokes in that car. Immediately.
1000%.
And it literally gives me a headache. And I don't really get sick, but it gives me a headache.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I don't think it's COVID because this is the exact same way my throat felt when I was in Paris because of all the smoking. And it was just like that kind of like dry, raspy
smoking.
I was thinking slob on my now. Like, cold like that. Do your job.
First of all, it's well lubricated and a professional, so that ain't happening. Okay. I don't got those issues. I ain't worried about that.
I know that's right.
But yeah, it literally took me back to there because I'm just not used to inhaling smoke. And y'all about to get me. I was about to say,
you said it, not us.
And I was going to say, and my throat's too sensitive for all that. After I just said I'm a professional, I did it to myself.
Did it to yourself, girl.
Yeah, but no.
Oh man, and Dawon, welcome back to the States.
Thank you.
She's back in the crib.
Yes, this familiar background, y'all remember. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually home, but these next couple of weeks, girl,
work travel got you crazy.
And I'm mad because Delta just switched up their rewards, their loyalty, their quote unquote loyalty program, and it's just.
What did they do? Because I've been seeing people post about this, and I don't fly Delta like that, so I didn't have like a Delta card or anything.
Basically, they've so there are a lot of different ways that a person can status, and the way that I've been statusing has been a combination of number of flights, legs of flight flown, or miles registered miles flown. And a combination of how much you pay. They've now eliminated the option to count the number of flights that you take, and so they've increased the dollar amount that you spend for each of the tiers.
So it's basically
the-
harder to status
making
then.
it well,
Way
that's what
harder.
everybody's talking. That's what everybody's complaining about. And so, like for example, you would have, in order to diamond status, you would have to spend 300 and I'm sorry, not 300, $35,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 35,000. I'm sorry, I was thinking about a black card minimums. So totally different.
Flex.
The auntie Shar always finds a way to sneak on out.
A whole other story, but
not that one.
35,000. You'd have to spend $35,000 on flights in order to diamond status per year.
On flights, who's spending $35,000 on flights
outside
of someone for a business?
And that's what it
outside
is.
for a business. There's no way for a person, like a regular person, to ever get that.
And the thing is, like, Americans started this trend. Americans switched to a similar model last year, beginning of this year.
And that's what they trash now.
Delta said, well, Americans is better now than Delta's. The way Delta did it, they said, oh, we got your model and we're going to make it even harder yet. Like, it's wild. Because at least on American, you can reach that spend in more ways than Delta. Delta's is very siloed. Like, it's gotta be like on Delta and that's it. Like, it's crazy. So
I'll give you another example. So I have a Delta Amex Platinum card, and that has a $690 annual fee. Now, I didn't mind that annual fee because you get a $500 flight credit every single year. So so you get a $500 flight credit. You get access to all of the Delta lounges on any flight, regardless of whether you're flying national or international, which is great, especially if you have a layover. You got free TSA pre-check. You got, I think, clear and like a bunch of other perks. And you get automatic gold status for Marriott. For Marriott reward points for staying in a hotel, you get gold status, which means you get automatic upgrades. So like so even though you're spending a lot on that fee, for people that travel a lot, you get a lot back for it
in return.
That all has been whittled back as well. So now, like, I have 4 Amexes, one for work, and then I have one for like my business account. And then I have 2 personal ones. And I have these in part because I do all of my regular spending, like, my rent, my, all the stuff on my credit card to get the points so that it goes for my flights so that I can status, which means that I can buy a regular smegular main cabin flight on Delta and get automatically upgraded to either minimum comfort, or I get upgraded to first class on almost every single one of my flights. So to me, it's totally worth it because I'm just doing my regular spend on my credit cards. Yes, I'm paying a little bit of extra fee, but I'm statusing and I'm getting the perks out of it. Now, I'm not going to get, they've eliminated Delta Lounge access for the Delta Platinum card, which makes absolutely no sense.
And they also limited how many times in a year you could go. So even if you make the status, you can only go 6 times a year now.
To the lounge.
That's to the lounge.
And what happened is it all started during COVID, or like the year after COVID, especially in Atlanta. Just living there, everybody had status. And the lines to get into these lounges were like hours just to even get into the lounges. Yeah. And so now it ain't special to get, now it will be, but it wasn't special to have status anymore. And probably enough people complained. And they do this because they make more money. They ain't gonna change nothing without making more money and do all the modeling that they need to get more money.
It sounds like a white person complained and said there were too many niggas in first class, and they said, you know what we're gonna do?
Actually,
we're gonna cut it.
It wasn't the black people, because you go to them Delta flights are filled with white people. Filled.
Right. But
with
that's what I'm
white
saying. A
people.
It's
white
up in
person.
Atlanta.
So, well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm flying from New York, and like I'm flying all over the United States, and every single flight, Delta flight that I am on is literally filled with white people.
So in other words, they saw your black ass and they were like, "Ooh,
We need
no,
to cut it.
It starts with one, and then there's
Right.
an infestation."
Honestly, this is just this is probably like phase 2 of the let's recoup our losses from COVID, because phase 1
Yeah.
was, and you see all the prices on all the flights have significantly gone up and stayed up on all the flights. So you
They're
used
making
to be able
record
to fly
profits right
to, yeah, that's all that it is. But
now.
for people like me who've been loyal
Loyal.
and like I don't give a I really don't give a shit about the lounge. Like I'm not trying to do layovers. I get to the airport probably 30 to 40 minutes before my flight leaves. So like
Yeah.
I'm not going I don't care about the lounge. I don't really give a shit. But if you
She says that, but then wasn't it the one that sent us that picture from the lounge before Rio?
well,
Was it
I mean,
back day?
actually, number one, that wasn't a Delta lounge.
Oh, okay.
That was a Centurion lounge. Hello.
There we go. Right. He's like, that's what
Centurion
that other
lounge.
Amex card is
That
for.
was it actually was. It's the other
I
card
know.
because I couldn't get
I
in.
know the cards. I know the cards.
So I really don't give a shit about the lounge experience, but like at the end of the day, the whole purpose and the thing that I've been on this whole time is like working the points and like, and like statusing. And yes, I think they're going to lose a lot of customers. Bottom line,
Yeah.
they're going
Honestly,
to,
I've
and
been reading. They're
Amex is
saying
going to
America
suffer
might have the
too
best one
because
now again. Oh, for sure.
And because think about it, like literally the only reason why I have my Amex cards, not because of some prestigious whatever, because I would have just stayed with my Chase Reserve card, which is probably one of the best cards
It's
that
the
was
best.
at least that's been out there.
Yeah.
The Chase Reserve has
Yeah.
been the best. I
Yeah.
would have stayed with that card, I would have just stayed with that card, and I would have rather worked the points on that particular card and the benefits to that. But so I'll probably I won't get rid of my Amex cards, but I'll downgrade them. I'll downgrade them to the regular Amexes. I'll get rid of the, because you can't upgrade them, but you can downgrade them. So I'm not paying that Why am I paying $700 for?
He said, for what?
Right. You look.
I know.
You
We need to get somebody on here.
Be more exclusive. Be
Right.
more exclusive.
It's so funny. Like, I don't know if I told this on this one night going out here in Philly. So, the points guy, like the pointsguy.com and all that stuff. The one that really kind of started spearheading a lot of the points in the last decade. I talked to him. He was behind me in line at the club here in Philly. And so like I'm good about like knowing people, but not letting you know that I know who you are. Cause I'm like, I am about to be nobody's groupie. Unless you like Jason Momoa or Henry Cavill or Michael B. Jordan. You can do whatever you want to me, boo. But
in other words, he ain't cute and he ain't fine. And he ain't want
no, he's actually handsome. He's
just
a tall guy.
I'm just playing.
Right. But it was funny staying in that line. Other people recognized who he was. They're like, oh, you're the points guy. And so they start like asking him questions and things like that. But just reading that site lately, they're like, okay, yeah, I mean, the Delta one might be downgraded now for as far as like loyalty programs now, like, and it might be the American one now, which for a while the American ones suck. They all suck at this point, honestly.
He came out with a video and basically like, laid it all out, and he's like, I want to explain like what this is. And he basically said like this is a significant cutback, and ultimately this is no longer a loyalty program, it's a prestige program.
It's a prestige program. It's like who going to outspend, and yes, it's going to be the ones that like travel a lot for business and things like that. It's not their money, so get the prestige of it. But for like people that like to travel and actually travel a decent amount in a year, it's going to be so hard based on your amount that you travel now. You're not going to get the status that you once got.
Yeah,
you're going to have to
either
up it or spend a shit ton. Whew, I don't know, but anymore I'm not loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. I ain't loyal either.
I don't fly enough to really care about any of these. The only one I do have is an Alaska card because that's the hub here.
Yeah.
And it's easy to fly Alaska for me to get out of this goddamn place. So it's just, That's the only one I got, and it's still, I don't even care about the points. I just like having the companion fare, and I like being able to, get upgrades for the one airline that I will fly out of here. So
yeah. Well, community, we Jarrell and I got to see each other this last weekend because we were kind of flying all over the place. And I was like, when was the last time I saw Jarrell in person? It hit me later. I was like, it's been a minute.
Landon's birthday last year.
That's crazy. That is
Right?
crazy.
Like how fast time flew by. And not me being like, how long you in South Bend?
Right, literally.
So Issa and I were like stalking your Instagram. And he was like, yeah, he just posted like he was on Highway 90, like Chicago this way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he going back to like South Bend. Then I was like, well, let me confirm. So instead of just asking you, because I figured you were busy, I saw that you posted you at a bar and it said Corby's. I said,
where's Corby's at?
Found the logo. Found it.
Right.
Found it. It's the exact same. He in South Bend. I'm on maps looking.
That's too funny. Yeah. Like, so it was out there because I used to live in South Bend. And honestly, it's so weird just like how the world works because like Dawon's partner is originally from that area. And so like there's that random connection there. And then other Jarrell that like comes to Philly.
We were actually remember we were actually in that bar. We took a video and you're like, oh, that place.
Uh-huh. And the other Jarrells also grew up in that area. So it's just like to actually live there and then leave and then meet other folks that just know this tiny ass area and have connections there. It's so bizarre every time. But I went back there because Central Michigan played Notre Dame in football. So we kind of had like a little Bayer reunion and a CMU reunion weekend there. But then I was like, okay, my flight's not until this evening. If I could get up out this bed, feeling hurting a little bit, I was like, let me try to get back in the city. Because I didn't know what time Jarrell had to be in Gary that day. And so he said that afternoon, and I was like, oh, damn, I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. But sure enough, literally had like a 2-3 hour window before he had to go and before I had to leave for the flight. We're like, all right, bitch, let's have a couple drinks. Let's
and let me tell you, we got in. We talk about like fast forward. We were taking shots. We were doing multiple drinks.
I ain't taking no shots.
Oh, that's right.
You was taking shots.
I took shots. Got us a bunch of free drinks.
Yeah, Jarrell. I was giving a high five. I was like, ooh, bitch, you still got it. I know that's right.
They were like, you know him? I was like, no.
Jarrell's like, do you need a drink? Anyone need another drink? Anyone?
We'll have 4, thank you.
He's like, yes, I just got that whole round and got it for $7. You're welcome.
$7. And that was the first time, and the next 2 rounds
you can't get nothing for $7 here in New York.
Nothing.
Especially not 5 drinks.
Girl, you can't even get COVID for $7.
Oh my god. So yeah, no, that was fun though. It was like a cute just little kiki, and then we hightailed it out of town, and the rest is history. So it's just like that's cool to have those moments where it's like, catch you when I can, even if it's a couple hours. Love you, boo. See you next time.
See you on Wednesday.
And this legit is going to be year number 4 that the 3 of us have not been in the same place at the same time at all.
Like, community. Like if you're new to the podcast, you might not know that little tidbit about this podcast. Before that, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Continue to help us grow. Thank you. We appreciate that. We have never been in the same location in the entire of our lives.
Yes.
At the same damn time.
No. It's always one missing. Always one missing. Always one missing.
Always.
And
it was going to happen for the West listeners, but that didn't happen.
Right. It was going to,
yeah.
And then COVID came.
And that was a wrap for 2 years.
Yeah. It could have happened for Beyonce in Paris, but obstacles.
Singular. It wasn't money based. It wasn't flight based. It was human based.
And it was supposed to happen for Afrotech.
Yeah.
Are y'all going this year?
I'm going.
I'm not. I was about to say, I think I saw on the group calendar that Dawon's going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going.
I'm not. I think it's the same weekend as Palm Springs Pride. I had already booked that and didn't realize it was the same weekend.
Yeah. Someone asked if I was going to Palm Springs Pride, but I was like, don't think so because that's the second weekend, right?
It's the first weekend of November.
So like the 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'll actually be y'all direction. So hold on. Wait.
See,
So I'm gonna be on the East Coast,
time, community,
and y'all bitches gonna be gone.
That's how it be.
I
be like
am on flatline.
But we won't say yet, so community will be popping up and doing shit. But there might be, at least you hinted, there might be maybe in December.
Maybe in December. So
we'll talk about that offline.
Right. No, but if we're not there that weekend that y'all are gone,
right,
then we will be hopefully trying to come back maybe in December. So we'll change that weekend to December because Fizz really wants to see New York in Christmas time. That's his favorite holiday. He's been wish list. I just want to see it. So I'm like, but it's cold, bitch. Oh. I don't want to go nowhere cold in a winter time.
It hasn't been lately. These last 3 years, it's been hot.
Global warming.
It's true.
No.
Yeah.
Not even a hint of snow.
No winter wonderland. It's just barren.
Just a dirty wonderland.
Right.
Like, well, we might be able to do it. Okay.
So we'll see. So anyway, we ain't even talking about nothing. We're just catching up.
We sure ain't.
It's a couple of weeks that we ain't had all three of us. So hopefully just enjoying the conversations between three friends at this point because we checking calendars.
We really having a regular ass group conversation. This is a group text, but live at this point.
So hopefully you made it to this point in the episode. Listen to the rest of it. You can fast forward to the beginning again if you want to. But y'all see a lot of folks are talking about this Angelica Ross situation with hashtag blame Brian Murphy and American Horror Story and Emma Roberts and all of them. Like at first, like just reading like the articles, I was kind of torn, honestly, on my reaction because I was like, it's kind of Hollywood to me, and he ain't got to guarantee shit. Like, yes, you might be under contract and shit, but that shit can change. But then like when she started doing like the talking about like the racism shit, I'm like, oh damn, that does suck to have that on set and the transphobic shit and everything like that. I'm like, well, damn, I'm with you on that. But just like the email stuff that she initially was saying, where like he was saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and then he ghosted her in the emails. I was like, "Bitch, like that."
That's life.
That's life. So is. Mm-hmm. But then the rest of it, I was like, "Okay, I'm with you now, Angelica. Like that's some bullshit."
Yeah, and I think that was my initial reaction too. Like a lot of it was like, "Well, that's life." Like somebody wearing something problematic that you don't like, but you still got to take your ass to work. Like you said, like a part of me found it hard, but I also understood, right? Like I understand being sick and tired. I understand it being 2023 and not wanting to fucking deal with this shit anymore. Yeah. And I also understand too, like being or working on a set that claims to be very diverse and claims to be, present in 2023 and supportive of everybody, but the people you got working on your crew ain't living that mindset, right? Like if you're gonna preach something, preach it from A to Z. Don't preach it the first half of the alphabet and then say, well, we don't care about. No. You got to do the whole entire thing. So I personally feel that there could have been something that could have been done. They just actively chose to go after the person who they felt would have been at least a little bit more accommodating to the situation, which they felt it was Angelica Ross. But being racism and transphobia, it should have been the person who was starting this shit, not the person that was being done to. So
and maybe this is just my lack of understanding of like entertainment contract law, but I don't get the purpose of these like exclusive contracts. I really don't, because as long as you can work it out from a schedule standpoint, what the fuck difference does it make? Take the extra commercial, take the other movie, do these other things so that, I don't understand that. Like, missing out on opportunities because you're stuck in a contract, but you're not working under that contract. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just like, it
goes back
to, it's just like, A, it goes back to like reading that damn contract, and then B, if you read it and it was still in there, trying to negotiate what you can, because like you said, it's just like not everything is guaranteed. We see that in show business. I mean, there's been stuff that we've been able, like, thought we were going to be doing interviews and being on this and fall through and be ghosted. It's like, you know, and I mean, we're not under a contract like that, so I get that part of it where you feel handcuffed. But it's just like, if you have some shit like Marvel, my ass still going to go.
I would break that contract. You sue me, we'll have a conversation, and then I'm gonna take that other job. I'm gonna take that other.
Period.
Immediately. There ain't no way. There ain't no way
them AHS checks are hitting anywhere near what the Marvel checks are hitting at. So sue me, bitch. Sue me,
bitch.
Sue me.
You could have been a damn bunny. Money. You could have been a damn voice to a bunny, and that goddamn Marvel check would have been more than those AHS checks.
So again, hashtag blame Ryan Murphy.
I forgot about that nigga anyway.
I forgot all about that.
Hashtag blame Ryan Murphy. Showing back up in 2023, damn near 2024. I would have got the best lawyer. Be like, y'all gonna have to sue me. I can't work this Saturday, Sunday. I'm on the Marvel set.
And what sucks is that Angelica, as an actress, is phenomenal. She's super, super, super talented, and you can check the receipts. Like when we're talking about Pose, we're talking about like the people that were on there. She was one of the few that could actually act. And so, like, we all missed out.
This is how you said, few.
Just a dusting.
Nice gowns, beautiful gowns. But legit.
Especially from like the get-go. Some got better as time went on.
But she meant
beautiful gowns.
She meant consistent. She meant from beginning to end.
She's just talented.
Even Dan, she was still acting.
She was
came out dancing and everything. Come on, bitch.
She really has a gift. And what's sad is she's been obviously doing other things. She's been getting her activism thing on and her volunteerism thing on and her advocacy thing on, which is wonderful. But like,
and I love
we've been missing out on the talent that she has because she hasn't been on the scene. So I don't know, like, if her contract is over, so now she can like do some more stuff, but she's just so goddamn talented.
And the hard thing now is like, you speaking your truth, there still might be folks not wanting to work with you now because like if they might have been mean to you one day or rightfully so, or racism on the other spectrum, whatever it may be, the fear of her just getting back on social media again and exposing things. And I'm not saying that what she did is wrong. Like, speak your truth, because if that shit was going down, that's some bullshit. But we just know how Hollywood is.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we've seen it happen. Exactly. We've seen it happen. And
or far less.
Right. And the truth is, it's one of those things where like some people be like, oh, well, she's not down to play the game that, which is behind the scenes, which, we all know it's not right, but it's just an unspoken truth that everyone has to go through. Just because it's wrong don't mean that you got to do. Just because everyone else did it don't mean that she has to it as well too, right? So it's one of those things where like I really hope people don't view her like that. Honestly, I genuinely do.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the whole Monique situation play out, and I know that there's a lot of different opinions about that situation, but if you take what Monique has been saying at face value, right, and listen to what she says, like, there is a machine that is at work in Hollywood where you have to play the certain kind of game, and if you don't play a certain kind of game and you speak up for yourself or whatever, then it becomes this deuces situation.
I'm gonna show you that I got more power than you.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm glad that, folks like Tyler Perry and others are creating their own systems. I'm not saying, like, don't go over to Tyler Perry, but
Stop.
But you can film in a.
I will gladly take your check.
I sure would too. Look, my wig can change mid-sentence, and I'll be okay with it. Okay, look,
honey.
I was the actor. I don't even know how I got on the boat, but I was on the boat.
I was on
the boat. All I'm saying is that I'm excited to see folks like Tyler who are creating their own ecosystem, so that especially those that are within the Black community that are doing that, because then it creates some kind of a buffer that protects us in a system that doesn't work for us.
Because I mean, if Tyler could get denied Paramount with all them billies he got, that show you me on this little show. They gonna ego check me too. So and like you said, that's just the game. And I agree, we need more Tylers out there to be able to put up that buffer and be like, we got our own, and the quality is just as good. Come over here, and we got you, and we'll pay you more. We'll pay you consistently. Blah blah blah, and I put you in some bullshit contracts too. So, then another crazy thing that's still going on just against the LGBTQIA plus community is, did you see how out in California, which we think is a more liberal state, but it has their little crazy rural parts too, are banning the gay flag now, and certain school districts out there are trying to ban the pride flag. And it's just like, right when we thought it was just going to be like the Floridas, the Oklahomas and shit like that, that shit is starting to permeate and spread. And we're coming up to voting season. We're coming up to the elections. Keep this shit in mind, because it's also the superintendent, the school board, and all that shit that you need to pay attention to, or this shit is going to continue to permeate throughout the country.
There was a big misconception about California. I mean, the reality of it is that just like every other state that is a blue state, it's just, or a liberal leaning or truly liberal state, it's driven by the hubs. But when you go outside of those hubs, that shit bleeds redder than.
Well, I forget which one of the guests that came on. It was either Jarvis or it was Z that mentioned about how Republican, California. I think it was Z. Yeah, because I think he was mentioning about some of the local elections that were happening in California. It didn't surprise me after hearing that from Z and hearing about this. It didn't surprise me one bit.
Look,
but again,
even New York, even like a state like New York has Manhattan and has the 5 boroughs that make up New York City. But outside of these 5 boroughs, you go to, Albany, you go to Westchester, you go to, like the Finger Lakes, like that's, you see Trump.
Is it really called the Finger Lakes?
Trump.
Yeah, the Finger Lakes.
The Finger Lakes.
Sounds like a fisting place.
That's funny. But yeah, it says like in California's Alameda County, this school board voted 2-1 to ban pride flags at the town's only elementary school. It's part of Northern California's Bay Area that has a population of under 1,000. And then also in the Temecula school board, which is actually Temecula is a larger area in Southern California, voted 3-2 to ban all flags except the U.S. flag and the state flag. With limited exceptions, whatever those exceptions are. So it's just like this shit is permeating. And then you see Canada initially saying, warning folks not to come to America because
the
of all
gays.
the anti-LGBT measures. But did you see yesterday and today in Canada, protests throughout Canada and a lot towards like the Vancouver area against LGBTQIA plus groups and things like that. And so again, this shit is starting to permeate everywhere, where people are getting extra bold against folks that look and sound like us. And it's scary. It's scary because it's just like, for me, I ain't about to like change how I operate. Like, I'm gay as hell, it is what it is. But it sucks to know that potentially that could be risks for us of just literally being who we are the second we walk out our doors.
I want to give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out real quick to just Brazil country altogether, because they literally just passed a federal law, that says hate speech against LGBTQIA individuals is punishable by 7 years or more in prison.
Hey,
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
is
gonna be
that where we
moving back.
moving?
I already lived there for a month, so
Like the Wild's pocketbook. I got my pocketbook too,
Look.
girl.
honey, because this shit. I was having a conversation with another friend of mine, just about like all the shit that's been going on, and like all the political stuff, and it was just like, I'm getting fed up as a Black gay man in this country. Like, how much longer am I going to continue in a country that does not see me, does not want me, does not protect me? Like, and I'm not going to lie. Like, I have a pretty good life. It's not that I haven't worked for it or whatever, but I have a pretty good life. But at the same time, I'm tired of this bullshit.
Right.
Like, why in 2023, about to be 2024, we still got to be dealing with this bullshit. Over
spend this much energy,
politicizing,
this much money,
politicizing identities as a divisive tactic for political gain. That is some fucked up bullshit. And I'm like, how much longer can one continue in this cycle? I'm not doing it forever. I'll tell you that much. If shit doesn't change, and I already put it out there, because if this election goes the way that it's not supposed to go, bye. I'm out. I'm out. I'm leaving all y'all bitches behind. Sorry.
I'll say this. And some people are gonna be like, Jarrell, why you saying that? Why you say that? I am less and I hate to say this, I'm not less concerned, but my main focus, unfortunately, is because the first thing you see when you see me is my Blackness. I've almost been desensitized to the thought of someone coming at me because I'm queer, because I'm gay, right? Like, that's the last thing on the back of my mind, because I can shut my mouth up sometimes, but sometimes, and a life and death situation, everybody on mute, period. But it's honestly, I feel more threatened as a Black man still in this country than I do as a gay man. So I'm gonna let other people. I'm gonna let the white people lead this battle, because they ain't helping us as Black people. So until they make space for us, they can go ahead, get up, white people, go handle this. I'm over here.
And there's a certain amount of privilege that even as gay men that we have. When I think about what we were just talking about earlier about Angelica Ross as a trans woman, and so many trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming individuals that are out there that, are still struggling with just the bathroom thing, just the existence thing, just the, I'm trying to get a job, and, like my driver's license or my identification is not in alignment with my identity, and all the hoops that they have to go through, and the danger that they are in, constant danger. It is not lost on me the privilege that we sit in and that we enjoy even as Black men, even under the thumbprint of of racism and homophobia and all that bullshit. We still have, it's like the the brown paper bag test. Like, there's a certain level of privilege that being a cisgendered Black gay man has, relative to somebody who is a gender nonconforming, or trans, or intersex or other individual, that we're not living in a constant state of fear for for that aspect of our identity. And so it's not lost on me, but bitch is tired.
Oh, and I'm glad you said that, Dawon. And also, let me clarify too. I got time and the energy for those of us in the LGBTQIA plus community that don't fit the status quo of what people often think about or give room and space for, which is everyone as part of it that looks white. Okay, that has that level of privilege. I'll make room for everybody else. But when it comes to that flag, that rainbow flag that don't represent all of us, let's be honest, and the people who really yell at the mountaintops about it are the people who are white in the queer community. Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
And I don't say white gay men specifically. Mostly it's mostly them. But no, they can lead the charge on this. They can lead the charge.
And white lesbians too. Throw their asses in there. They ain't doing enough. Shit.
Look,
you over there gardening and building shit. You need to get on the line.
Look, the white gay man want to come around pride and be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna wear. Here's your chance, girl. Here's your chance, so you can have it in June next year, girl. This what you love to do every June. So go."
I watched
go
a video
it.
literally today on Instagram of I think this was what is it, Queen in Miami. I think is it Queen? I can't remember the name of it. No. It's the it's the place where all the drag queens perform and they perform in the streets and whatnot. I'm trying to remember the name of.
It starts with a P.
Prism.
No.
Prism.
Damn.
Passion.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Purple.
The Palace.
Plumpkins. Not in Florida.
Palace. Ain't it the Palace?
Whatever. At any rate, it was a whole bunch of white people, white men, dancing to some Beyonce number, whatever, and it just made me mad. I'm like, here y'all go. Can't have nothing. Can't y'all do that shit to Taylor Swift? Ain't she the baddest bitch out there, y'all? According to y'all, why can't y'all do that shit to her?
I'm the baddest bitch. Boom, boom. Who's bad? Who's bad?
Like, y'all always want to be yes, mama, and doing all this. Why don't y'all? Can't you pluck a guitar? Can you emulate plucking a guitar and wearing tights? Do that shit. Fantasize about wearing bangs. How about that?
I'm so done with you.
It made me all the way mad. Sorry, that was. I digress.
Can't you pluck a guitar? Is what I took out of that whole thing.
Look, I will say this because often a lot of drag brunches are filled with gay white men.
Yes, man.
I appreciate when a brunch, the music that the ladies are performing to don't look like the people in the audience.
No, man.
Okay, it looked like the speck of pepper and the sea of salt in the audience. Because and hey, Jasmine Masters, because I didn't say that a couple episodes ago that I got to finally meet Jasmine Masters down in Palm Springs.
Yeah,
and it was for a B-Day drag brunch. Most of the people in there were white. Most of the people in there were white. Didn't know any of the B-Day songs. Some of the girls come out doing Kitty Cat. Some of them doing some other songs that just did not make the radio, right?
Yeah.
And you can see people being like this.
I hope they still gave them dollars though, because we need these drag bars to stay open.
Not until they start flipping and flopping and dipping and all sorts of stuff. Then they were like, "Oh my God, they're doing tricks!" And I was like, "I hate that y'all wait until they do some type of acrobatics versus
this."
Yes, and that's what it is. That's what it is.
And computer, if you ain't watching this on YouTube, you're gonna have to watch that spot on YouTube because I ain't gonna say what it was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it, but I don't know.
We don't need that. We don't need that out there in the SEO.
Damn, every 3 or 4 episodes, you got to bring that shit up. Well, stop doing it.
Oh man, so yeah, but if you take anything out of this though, vote, register to vote, show up to vote. Local community, the school board, everything, because that's the only way that we have some kind of power to start to change some of this shit. And it's when we don't show up, when more people come in and take power and start putting more laws on the books and things like that suppress folks that look and sound like us. So it's September. And a lot of this stuff is almost getting too late for you to register for this November stuff. So check your local guidelines and deadlines and triple check your status, because sometimes they be purging you from the book. So if you take anything out of this, pluck a guitar and vote.
Look, we doing an election trip. We're doing an election trip next year. So the boys that we went to Palm Springs with for Fizz's birthday, they live in Oregon, and both Oregon and Washington are mail-in ballots. So we get our ballots in
There
September,
you go.
and you can just mail that shit in, and then you good to go. You just have until election day to get that shit in, right?
There you go.
So we said, you know what? We ain't gonna be here when we get these results, bitch. Just in case that shit goes south, we gonna be in somebody other country on somebody else's beach.
At the
Blast that bitch.
Copa,
And the way
Copa,
Dawon talking, we might be in Brazil. Shit,
Honey, looking at them menses. That's what I do know.
girl.
I do know that. And on that note, we're going to take a quick little tea break. We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo,
aunties
got
merch! Hey! That's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there, so go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find it at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minoritareport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. Alrighty, ladies. We'll let you get your sip of water. I know that's right.
Lubricate.
What time is it? Yeah, right, lubricate that thought. What time is it?
Ask your
auntie.
I feel like we haven't sex in a while.
I was just about to say the
so
same
good.
thing.
In my head, I'm like, damn, this feels like a throwback.
Right? It's like we ain't done to ask your aunties in a minute.
Damn.
And it's because community, we need some new ones. We got
really
and
do,
the one we
that
go
part.
do today is hot off the presses. So send those in, please. But this one says, Dear aunties, I hate to say it, but my Renaissance experience will forever be marred by a fight that I got into with my best friend of 10 plus years after the show. For some context, my friend drove into town a few days before the concert, and the weekend started off with petty bickering, kind of like siblings fighting over random stuff. And we even had a shouting match in line while waiting to go into Sidetracks. Fast forward to the concert, we looked good, had great seats, and had a blast. As we were leaving the stadium, a petty disagreement over directions escalated into a full-blown argument. Words were exchanged, including me saying, "Get your shit out my house, we're through." We ended up taking separate Ubers and haven't seen or spoken to each other since July. I've talked to my family and therapists and have acknowledged and accepted my role in this argument. I'm trying to make amends and have reached out a few times to reconnect. I've been met with radio silence. The pain I feel is so deep. Guilt, sadness, anger, and I feel like a part of me and our friendship has died. I have a history of cutting people off out of my life, and it's something that I'm personally working through and trying to learn from. And this person is so important to me. How can I heal from this, and can our friendship survive?
Damn, there's a lot in there.
That's
Is this
a
a
lot,
Gemini?
yeah.
Or a Scorpio?
I'm not gonna say. You can look in the email yourself and figure it out.
Let me go to this email.
Right.
Well, while you go to the email, I'll say a couple of things. First things first, I will say that I hate that your Renaissance experience is going to be forever tied to that moment with your best friend. Yeah. Because the Renaissance tour, if anything, is supposed to make you do the exact opposite. Make you want to love someone and be close with someone even more. So I'm interested to know a little bit more backstory, because if you left that concert not feeling love and you were able to over directions, there was already something brewing. There was already an issue that had not been solved, that had not been talked about, because there ain't no way that directions is going to be what ends a 10 plus year relationship or friendship.
After a Beyonce Renaissance.
After Beyonce Renaissance, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Your level of mood should have been so just through the roof that, bitch, very little could have upset your peace. Yeah. Very little could have upset your peace. So I honestly, I would ask you to think about your friendship even before the concert? And were there other conversations, or were there other moments that could have actually been the true catalyst for what ended up happening? Because that might be something that the person may have been already feeling, that was the straw that broke the camel back, was that. And so for there, you might be apologizing for something that actually isn't the real issue.
Yeah.
So that's that I guess that would be the only thing as far as cutting people off and stuff like that. If you haven't been that short with someone for 10 plus years, then that person obviously, one, knows that you have that in you to cut someone off. And so they should already know that you would have come back in this situation. And two, if you haven't already done that to that person, then you also should have known that you weren't going to. So I would encourage you to also start, and I have to say this because I got to tell my black ass this all the time: think before you speak. You know, like, make sure you understand that words have powers, and once you say something, you cannot take it back, right? And so if you want to be better at making sure that you're not cutting people off, one of those things is going to be able to make sure that you're not having conversations that are just plain blank period poo, because I learned that poo can be lonely.
Say that again. That's a word. Over here thinking you got to, oh, I'm going to say this, see it, and your ass sitting on the bench by yourself.
By yourself.
Look, Dave Chappelle
arguing with your damn self.
Dave Chappelle had a whole skit about when keeping it real goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You might have kept it real, and you might have felt good about keeping it real, but keeping it real, you gotta
You
be
ain't like people playing on your phone. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
you got to be ready for the consequences of that. I think you're absolutely right, Jarrell. In that, like, people have to be really careful with what they say. And if you, like, I know it feels really good to get that venom out of your throat and out of your chest, in the heat of the moment, but if you're not thinking about the consequences of what could happen as a result of that, one finds themselves in situations like this where there's where there's regret, and there's the inability to get some sense of resolution with that particular individual. I think the other thing of it is that friendships are here and relationships are here sometimes for a reason and sometimes for a season. And maybe this relationship has ran its course. And although the circumstances, of the relationship, the friendship, dissipating, if you will, was not the best, maybe at the end, it was the best because, and only this person, the person that wrote this in will really know this. But like, when you really think about the dynamics of a relationship, why in the world would there be these series of disagreements around something that really should be a celebratory moment? So maybe
drove in the town.
maybe this was just the time for the splitting. And I love the fact that this individual has had conversation with family and therapists, and has acknowledged their part in this whole scenario, but also that acknowledging one's part in doing something that negatively impacted a relationship and the person that they care about doesn't mean that it can be fixed. Sometimes you just have to accept that I did some fucked up shit, or I said some things that I really didn't mean, and now I'm in a situation where I just have to deal with the fallout. And
that is so hard.
I'm not saying it's easy.
I wrote down too.
Right. I'm not saying it's easy, but you have to do it. You do some fucked up shit on your job, you're going to get fired. You ain't going to be able to come back and be like, you can keep me on. No, that's not gonna. No, it's a wrap. So you got to deal with that shit and you move on. I'm not saying it's easy, but you're gonna have to do it. So
literally, I wrote down. I was like, the repercussions to some grown ass shit.
If what I would say is that if there's always the possibility for reconciliation. And it might not come in the timing and in the form that you may want or desire it. But it is possible. So what I would advise is just be open. And if you want to rekindle this friendship, if you want to get some sense of resolution and meeting of the minds, if you want to, to make this right in some way, I would say continue to reach out when, the spirit moves you, and just be open to the possibility. And maybe it'll happen, but also recognize that maybe it won't. And that's a very real possibility.
I'll say this: the holiday season is a good time to apologize because people be nice. Okay, so for those of us, often than not, you will be surprised at how many people will say thank you, or they will give you that little window to creep you away. Because I done fucked up, so let me tell you, I'm a professional at this. Okay, so when you've done some wrong, you got to get them while they're weak. You got to get them when they feeling nice and they feeling good. And Christmas Day is a good way to be like, Merry Christmas, just thinking about you, boo. Hope everything's well. Hope life's good. Send some nice and lovey. Just to kind of inch the door open a little bit. And then when they respond, kick that bitch down and be like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, I've had to do it a couple times.
I'm like, don't talk to me like shit ain't been filed for the last 6 months. Don't send me a paragraph. But I honestly, I was thinking the same thing. You guys said pretty much what I was thinking. Like, there's repercussions to grown ass words.
Yeah,
and like a lot of times it's just like we like to be like, oh, I said that. Like, yeah, I told that bitch. And like you said, the real next thing you know, you by yourself do that too many times to your friends. Like, what?
Yeah,
that's on you. Then that's some shit you ain't dealing with. That ain't them. And so, like, my thoughts just like, what really triggered you of what they said? Like, what really triggered you? You can't control what triggered them and the stuff that they said now, especially since they radio silent. Figure out in therapy what triggered you. Why did that trigger you over some directions that made you turn up and take an expensive ass Uber from the Renaissance concert, because that shit is hard to get at the Renaissance concert and cost quadruple time. Like, let's be all the way real. So that's the part I hope like you figure out, just at least for yourself, so this doesn't become a habitual thing, because you say you have a history of doing this shit, at least cutting people off. But it sounds like it's probably cutting people off after you done got mad and blown up. So what is that trigger for yourself? And then if they talk to you eventually, don't bring up the radio silence. Like, that's another thing. It's like, don't be like, oh, I've been reaching out for you. You finally don't do that, because they don't owe you anything at this point. You don't say what you said. So if radio silence is what they need to help them heal and grow and figure out what triggered them, et cetera, do not bring that shit up, because that's just going to re-trigger and show that you're just really trying to be like, well, I proved the point. I was the nice one this time. That's not how that shit go. So everything else you guys hit on, like the repercussions and things like that, words fucking matter, especially in the heat of a moment. Like, that shit hurts,
Yeah.
And again, like, after leaving Renaissance of all things, Renaissance?
Yeah.
What is that trigger?
Can I just say,
could not imagine.
I ain't arguing with my friends. Period.
Not like that.
No. I'm not arguing with we can have a disagreement. Like, the three of us didn't have many disagreements, but we ain't calling each other out our names. We not like, you motherfucker, you did it. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. Period. It ain't worth it. It ain't, and it ain't right. So I'll just say this: people are different, but I'm just saying, I ain't arguing with nobody. So if we gotta argue, at that point, the relationship's over. Because that shit sticks in your brain and it sticks in your heart. Whatever was said in that context of an argument sticks and stings and hurts. And I don't care how long you get over it, you don't have an argument. Let one thing happen and you go right back to the way that you were feeling during the midst of that. It's not worth. So at that point, it's a wrap. So if I'm just gonna put it out there, community, if y'all know me, if we ever get into an argument, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. There ain't nothing to talk
about. Come on, Mariah.
There's no conversation. We just not talking. We're not doing anything together. I'm not responding to you. It's a wrap. And there is no reconciling it. None whatsoever. And it's not about being petty. It's about protecting one's peace. Relationships should be nurturing. They should be supportive. You don't always have to agree, but you shouldn't be arguing with each other. at all.
Yeah. I was gonna say like for me, my good friendships are very much almost like a relationship, right?
They
In the
are.
sense of that, like however I'm gonna talk to my partner with that level of thoughtfulness and repercussions of if this is gonna work or something. I do this, give that same energy to my friends as well too. And and I'm with you, Dawon. If I'm arguing with someone to that level, that's not a friend. That's honestly not a friend. That's not a friend. That's someone that has served his purpose and now they are beyond that purpose. And like I think Dawon, you had said that the season has passed. And maybe that's just how that story ends. But you should not be having those level of arguments with people that you love though.
I'm gonna
I'm
have an
sorry.
argument with my man,
Look,
but not my friend.
look.
Not my friend. I ain't sleeping
Nah,
with you. We ain't living
nah.
together. We ain't
I
paying bills. We ain't building a life together. No, not my friend. No.
no.
No more
No, no, no,
drama
no.
in my life. No.
Mm-mm.
It's a wrap.
No,
no,
I'm not.
no,
I'm not
no.
even doing that with my friend. Let me tell you, the last person I gave that energy to was my mama, and at that point, I said, if I can go there with my mama, that means I should not be going there with anybody, right? Like I had to stop, but it's just no one's worth it.
Yeah.
No one's worth it at that point. So for me personally, it became one of those things that like if a person is getting you out of your character, they got too much access to you, or you giving them too much access to you, and that you need to start controlling yours. You need to start thinking about how you react to things.
Yeah, and you
Because
don't have to
it's
attend every
nobody.
bickerment. And we said that I forget what episode
Like
it was a few
like
weeks ago.
Marco said,
Yeah.
you don't got to RSVP.
You
You don't
don't
got
have to
to
RSVP
RSVP.
to
Yeah.
that. Like there
Mm-mm.
might be stuff that literally piss you off, that like trigger you or bicker, whatever. You don't have to attend. And hopefully you learn that after this. Like, damn, I didn't have to attend that Renaissance party. I should have went to
The
the
other
club
after
then.
party. You should have went to
Right.
the other
I
after
should have went to the
party.
club.
Okay, that
You
one
didn't have
over
to
there.
RSVP to that one. So
Listen,
hopefully we were too hard on you.
Well, and
But
let me also just say, like, I feel for this person because I
yes,
understand the
1000.
pain of losing a good, what one
Yeah.
would consider to be a good friend.
Yep.
That shit hurts to the core. It's like a breakup, really.
It
And
is.
there's grieving that
Yup.
happens. You have to go through all the stages of grieving, to really work through this, and it's not easy. So I sympathize, but
Yeah.
I ain't arguing with
you
no
know what?
friends. I ain't
I'm gonna tell
arguing.
you. I got one
Mhm.
other bit of advice. Go see her again. She got 5 more shows. So go see Beyonce one more time.
Yes,
That way
yes.
Well,
you get a new.
by the time
So
this episode, it might be
yes.
like 2 more.
But you're right, like 2 more times. So you better get to looking at them tickets,
Find you some
baby,
flights. Right.
because don't let that be what you remember from
Yeah.
Renaissance. Okay, because
Yeah.
baby, I don't want a second time. And honey,
Well, hold on. Continue to send your questions to aya@minorityareport.com or DM us because we want to hear Jarrell's story about his second going of Renaissance.
let me tell you, after going 96 days
Oh, she
without
done had
seeing
a
her again,
calendar.
girl,
she,
96
she was
days,
marking out like the old school calendar with the red marker.
96 days of seeing her the first time to this time.
It's different.
It was different but the same at the same time.
Yeah.
It was, I think what I enjoyed about it the second time was that now that my eyebrows and my edges have come back, like I feel like the scalping wasn't as damaging as it was the
Right.
first time. So now like the things that I do remember for the first time that I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I got that on my phone. Now the things that I got to see from other people's videos that I like, I got to see and live those moments again, right? That I really enjoyed. And I'll say real quick, there was one point when she was singing, was she singing 1+1? Nope, that's on the piano. What comes after Flaws and All? Flaws and All.
Oh no, is that later?
Yeah, that's later. It goes Dangerously in Love, 1+1 because she goes to the piano, then she comes back and then she does Flaws and All, and then she ends with um um River
Damn.
Deep from
Oh
Tina
yeah,
Turner.
the Tina Turner.
Yep.
Yep.
So when she came back from the piano and got to Flaws and All, at one point I think she took a wrong deep breath because she started coughing. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Literally was just. And then let me tell you.
You know that when that little spit go down the road?
That shit
And she
make you
was
want to
coughing.
feel like you are dying.
Right?
Girl. And she was coughing for a good like 30 seconds. So there was a good 30 seconds where she's not singing. And then the crowd started singing the song. And you can see she like lit up and she was like grateful that we were like girl,
Yeah.
get it out. Get it
Like,
out. So we
we
singing the
been
song.
there.
They gave her the water. She didn't even
Honey.
take a sip of the water. This is how she bounced back. She didn't even take a sip of the water. She had it in her hand. And then she jumped right back into that bitch. Like I was
The
like,
mic
thank
was
God.
on.
The mic was on. The
Was
on.
on. Okay. Okay. And of course, the white people could not go on mute for more than a second.
I saw that. I was like, oh, it's
Someone
too
was
far
like,
into this damn tour for y'all to not like be silent.
you know, white people always need to insert themselves. So I was not expecting people. And someone posted like, "Oh my God, Seattle did it." I said, "Bitch, the mute challenge is for at least a full 8 count, bitch." Like, you didn't mean you got they shut up for 1 second.
It's so
Girl.
annoying. It's so annoying. I know Beyonce backstage talking like, man, that motherfucking fuck you, Seattle. Y'all can't even shut the fuck
Right,
up.
That'll be the last time she come back.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Nah.
Y'all can't play. Y'all don't know how this works.
But it was honestly, it was so good to just like sit in it and not feel like I was going like this, like looking at everything. And
I agree.
I'm glad I saw it a second time.
You were able to soak it in a little more the second time round.
Absolutely.
The first time you're just like, I can't. Oh my God. Oh my. The entire time you're just like, oh my God. Second time you're like, oh my God, but bitch, I know what's about to come. I'm ready. Let me soak it in. Oh, I didn't hear that note last time. Oh, I didn't see that. Like, yeah, you soaking it all in.
And just watching other people like seeing it for the first time was just also really nice. I'm like, oh my God. Let me tell you, and that's the only time there was this little white boy behind us.
Uh-oh.
And he had to be maybe like 16, and his parents took him. Aww. And when I tell you, this boy was on his feet and he sang every word, every song, word for word. I'm talking about Dangerously in Love all the way to Renaissance. You can tell this little boy was a fan.
That's a Beehive member.
That's a Beehive. And I turned to the little boy and I was like, you know what? You enjoy this moment, baby. I literally was just like, you enjoy this moment. I hope this gives you everything that you want. He was yelling and no rhythm because what he was dancing to was different than what she was singing because he looked like he was at a mosh pit the way he was. Just
you know how to harness that Beyonce energy in his being.
Look, and I was like, let it out, babe. Let it out. But that was really cute to see. And I saw multiple people having like those moments of like, oh my God, this is everything. So I enjoyed it. It was everything. I wish I could.
Was it worth spending that money again?
Let me tell you, we got tickets the day before because I was watching like people were giving tickets away for Vancouver the Monday before, like for free.
Shut up.
Like because it was hard to like resell those tickets. So I'm like, so the same thing gonna happen in Seattle. So it's like, we're gonna wait. My friend's like, I don't know, Jarrell, I'm gonna be mad if we go day of and we don't get these tickets. And I'm like, okay, I'm watching the prices. They're slowly going down. I was like, day before, I was like, you know what? Let's just get it. Day before, we'll get it. And the longer we up in there, and then I'll do this trick that I like to do. I'm ghetto. But I'll buy a ticket just to get in the venue, and then I'll go on Ticketmaster and see what tickets haven't been sold. And then I will make my way down to get to the tickets that haven't been sold and sit in those seats. So that's how I make my way.
You can take the bitch out, Gary, but you can't take the Gary out the bitch.
So that's how I level up, right? So we got the tickets because that was the plan. All right, cool. We in the section 208. Like we're not far. We're still relatively close. We can see everything. Still great seats. Bitch, day of, prices start going right back up.
Yeah. Oh, you would have been bitter.
They Ticketmaster was selling tickets, and all the way to the moment she said, Seattle.
Right.
Ticketmaster went on mute. There were no
Seattle,
selling
Washington
tickets. Look. And they were going because Fizz you know what? I don't care if he can hear this. Didn't want to go. He was like, this is too much money.
Yeah.
This is too much money. The same energy he gave us in Paris. That's why he sat where he sat. So I went with one of my
Back
good
in the
Judies out
bleachers.
here.
In the bleachers.
He was like, I don't want to pay that money. Day of, who don't Ticketmaster? Looking and looking and looking and looking and looking and looking. Prices wouldn't fall in his favor.
Aw. Aw, Fizz.
See when I get home.
We might as well Uber separately.
I know
Because
that's
we
right.
having two totally different experiences.
Honey. A
Look.
word.
Look.
A
And we
word.
got our tickets were still, we got our level 200 tickets for, I want to say like $180.
Mhm.
Like, and them bitches were day of, we're back to 3-something.
Wow.
Like that's how low they had dropped.
I
So
believe
we
it.
literally got them basically half off.
Wow.
Oof.
Baby.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I can't believe we're at the end of this tour.
Mm.
I know, I'm sure there are some community members be like, I'm tired. I'm glad because these bitches talk about Beyonce every week. That's okay though. That's our ministry. That's
They
our
get over
business,
it.
like Tabitha said. That's our business.
And
They
you know
get
what?
over it.
You have the ability to do this. Fast forward.
Right. At least fast forward and keep it to the end so we get all the completion rates. Thank you.
Right.
At least do that due diligence for us.
Yes.
And honestly, I thought about quitting my job and becoming a USA Today writer. That's what we should have done. That's what we
Honey.
should have done the whole year. Become a USA Today writer for this damn tour because they
Girl.
We damn
they
near did it already.
we sure did it for you. And honestly, the per hours, like if y'all need a job, passionate about Beyonce, the dollars per hour is not that bad.
Honey.
I thought about it.
It's a little
I
late
really thought
though.
about
Like the shit's almost over. What are you gonna write about?
Act
Look.
2 and 3.
If
What they know that we don't know.
Ooh, I don't
If.
know, right?
They
What's
don't
the
know
inside
nothing.
scoop?
They don't know nothing.
People are saying though it might be a Destiny's Child Nsync Super Bowl, so maybe they know. Maybe
Let me tell you, I would love that Super Bowl, and they said that there's rumored to have like a third group that
right.
would perform. Let me tell you, I was talking about this at work today, and I was like,
Ooh,
I would
Cheetah
love Destiny's
Girls?
Child. I would love NSYNC.
Come on,
No, but you know what? But you ready for this? I actually
Lil
like
Mama?
Linkin Park to be up in there.
Linkin Park.
Yes, because they're all around that same time area.
So
Yes, and say the white bitches would be up in there too, being like, it doesn't even matter. Bitch, look. Let me tell you, black folks know some Linkin Park too.
Honey,
Look,
there's some white bands that black folk fuck with.
Right, exactly.
Paramore, that's
Paramore,
one.
Look, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Let Evanescence come on right quick.
Wake me up,
honey. Wake me up inside.
Let me tell you. So you see, that's exactly the energy.
Fallout Boy, come on right quick.
Girl, let me tell you, if they get like a little rock band that black people also know up in
Panic
that
at your disco, come on now.
It's gonna be it. It's over. All demographics are gonna be met for their needs when it comes to that Super Bowl. Shut that shit down.
But if Destiny's Child comes out and says a tour, honey, this pocketbook coming right back out. I'll figure it out.
Girl.
Yeah.
Let me take these socks off real quick.
If I hear a rap, that's all.
Look.
That's all they need to put. The opening of Independent Women Part 1 on the social media thing is a black scream, and all you hear is that. It's over. Over. It's over. You don't even need to hear Lucy Lou. That part, just the first 3 little chords, 4 chords.
Yeah, look,
it's a rap.
That will just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Nope. I got call off work for the next week. I'm over. I'm done. I'm dead in the bed, and I'll be resurrected when it's time to go to that concert. Honey,
baby, I would be here for that.
I'm low-key an Nsync fan. Not even low-key. I'm gonna say high-key, bitch. I'm gonna stand in my truth.
I was definitely.
I was an Nsyncer.
I think I was
Especially
more
that second,
Backstreet.
third album.
I think
You
it
was
was
more
more
Backstreet?
Backstreet. I think I was more Backstreet. I still liked Nsync, and I could sing all their songs as well too.
Right.
But I think I like Backstreet because Brian and that damn jawline just
Got you.
got me, girl.
I used to think Kevin was cute in Backstreet, but now he's kind of got like weird looking. Like,
Girl, that's all of NSYNC.
Yeah.
Girl, when I look at them at the VMAs, I said
they done got old.
Honey.
They done got old.
That's how you know. That's how you know when white
When
celebrities
Lane
fall off.
the best looking one now, you know they done got old.
Let me tell you one thing I've learned when it comes to white celebrities. You know who in and who ain't because of how their upkeep is.
You right. Because
When
even
you
the last few years, Justin done fell off. Like Justin was like aging decently there for a while.
That's because that man went to the motherfucking woods. He ain't never came back.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. He's out in Montana. He's still out there.
You can stay out there as far as I'm concerned.
That's what happened. He went to the woods.
Yeah,
So
he's been on the
We'll see
island ever
Charlotte,
since
yeah.
that whole Janet
Titty gate.
No, brother, it's a wrap.
Titty gate. Yeah. So we'll see what happens though. But yeah, if a Destiny Child, that's my wish. It's literally my wish to hear Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce where they're at today and how they look today, and just a grown woman and stuff. I wouldn't be able to take it. I wouldn't be able to take it. I would not be able to take it.
That would probably end up being the most viewed halftime show of all time.
I would almost damn near had to find me a ticket. Spend me a whole house note.
Look, I'm somewhere in the crowd. Look, you know what? My bestie, Matt Clive, he does the Super Bowl halftime show as extras for like the last 5 years. And look, I'm hopping. I'm like, nigga, when you get that, when they send that email out, so they look at, because it's a wrap. Yeah. It's a wrap. That's a wrap. The moment is confirmed, I'm saying, you know what? I'm taking the PTO, and I'll be there the whole week leading up to it.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to get to the chorus. All you hear is it would be a rap.
Girl,
it would be a rap.
Girl, you hear that thing twist one time. That's it.
Like, bitch.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass.
You know, black folks, we fucking shit. We throwing something. We flipping something.
Honey, something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at my renter's insurance when I get that information, because
it's up to date.
Girl, make sure it really.
Make sure that shit paid. No, that's right. Well, community, hopefully you get excited as we are if it is a Destiny Child thing, because that's all we're gonna be talking about then too.
Can you imagine the day that the news drops?
Nope.
Look, cousin
work
Michelle
getting done.
Everybody, Michelle gonna have to come back on the podcast, okay?
Period.
And just look, cousin,
just explain herself, because she told me no last year.
And I can hear it now. I couldn't say no,
right.
But you can now, though.
Yes.
Come on, man. Let us know. How can we help?
I'm getting hot thinking about it, y'all. I'm like sweating.
We'll still have to send her a barrel of candy corn.
But
candy corn. Right.
Michelle, we coming for you, baby.
Oh, please. Lord, please let that happen. I need that in my life. Anyway, well, it's always good to see you too in the community. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah. Anything else on your hearts and minds?
Nah, but summer's gone.
It's gone.
Go.
Man, summer's gone.
That's a wrap.
And happy gray sweatpants season to you ladies. All right, just make sure you get your daily eye exam by looking when you see. Okay.
Get my daily vitamin D.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got to get up out this house first.
Milligrams.
I'm gonna go out and look. The first week back from vacay is rough. It is rough, honey. I still got 300 emails I got to get through. So,
but you know what wasn't rough? You know what wasn't rough? Her little Instagram photo shoot she did of all the shoes
Honey.
and bags and
Honey.
lingeries.
Barbie
That baby
coming.
girl got luck. Let me show you. I sat there and I said, how long she been home? This seemed like some walked in the door. Where my baby at?
She said, fuck them emails. I'm organizing all these clothes.
Didn't unpack shit.
Right.
She is over there,
back there.
honey. She is over there. We've been having a ball. Ball.
And I know we've been kind of MIA on the contest. We were waiting till Dawon got home. So we're going to figure the rest of it out and stay tuned because we going to get a name and a winner. And get your Minority Report swag and all that good shit. So stay tuned to that. And until then, wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass. Bye. See you next week.
Bye, y'all.